For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time for war, and a time for peace.
The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Psalm of David 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
This is a reading from the book of the 1 Corinthians. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices in the right. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For our knowledge is imperfect, and our prophecy is imperfect. But when the perfect comes, the imperfect will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. And when I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall understand fully, even as I have been fully understood. So faith, hope, love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love.
I can't explain the existential circumstances that we live in. Can you? answer is to you as you're leaving seminary? It's a mystery. God's a mystery. And I think it's arrogant for any of us to think that we know more than the collective, more than our Creator. We don't know why people die young. We don't know why there's so much suffering. I can tell you one thing. I think the reason we are placed here is what I said to you that Jesus said, that we're here to love one another. And the only thing that will get you through horrific tragedy in Boston or in West Texas is being able to reach out and support one another in love. Did you read about the doctor who was running the marathon, 26 miles, ripped off his shirt, went and gave blood? Did you read about him? Did you read about all the people who ran to the people who were losing limbs and tied them off so they would be okay? Did you read about everybody in West Texas giving out free food? You see, the reason why I bring this up is not to refresh you, it's to make you understand, all of us understand, that each one of us is significant, each one of us is important, and each one of us has to give to each other. You know, it's not always easy to love one another. My favorite priest of all time, Donald Crickbaum, he gave a sermon one time and says, some people you have to live far, you have to love far away. Some you can live a little bit, love a little bit closer. And I love that, because we're called to love everyone, but sometimes it's not so easy. But we have to love one another, through good or bad. Another story I want to tell you briefly is that when I traveled to my mother's and Debbie's mother's homeland, Australia, my husband and I traveled to a church one night. We were exhausted, but we just wanted to go hear Evensong, which is an ancient Anglican tradition to sing at night. And the guy was giving the sermon, the dean, he was talking about death, and he said the most profound thing. And it's about the only thing I can say to you, Robin, who is his beshert. Right? I love that word. I have a beshert too. His name's Charlie. And it's just inexplicable. I will tell you, I don't believe love ever dies. But what's interesting, what this man said was, he was talking about people dying. He said, when people are alive, they're outside of you. They're outside of you, and you encounter them outside of you. And when people die, they move inside of you. They move into your memories. And that's what we have. It might not be all we want, but it's what we have. And you have those joyous memories. You have that celebration. That's what it's about, the abundance of life. And that abundance of life is in our daily choices and how we treat one another. And what I want to honor today is how Louis treated people. I want to honor somebody who moved out of self and was able to engage the other. And that means all of us are the other to everyone else, aren't we? He was able to do that. He was able to heal. Louis was a healer. He was able to know that if I bring people to the program, if I bring people into community, that we can help save them. They have to make the choices by themselves, but I can be there for somebody else. And I don't know about you, but I met a lot of selfish people in my life. And it's really incredible to be able to stand here and talk about somebody who was altruistic, who was selfless, who cared about others. And you know, we're talking quality of life here. We're talking a person who was a real quality person. So I'm glad I met Louis. I wish I had known him better. And I'm glad that I could see his love with you as a live and thriving part of our existence. And that's what we are called to do, to love one another as God has loved us. Amen.
So, we'll try to keep it brief as I can. I met Louis 31 years ago. And over the course of the last 31 years, we became good friends, brothers. felt this real emptiness this week, you know. Since he passed, I felt this real emptiness. And every time you lose somebody in your life, I suppose, and I lost a lot of friends, you know, in my life over the last couple of years. And each time you lose somebody, there's a piece of you that goes along with them, you know. And I really felt that this week. So I had to think about all the good things that I could think of. I had a conversation with Tracy the other day. You know, 90% of the conversation we were laughing. You know, even though we couldn't see each other, we were smiling, I'm sure. And we talked about all the funny things that we did and knew about Louis. And there's so many stories, I couldn't begin to piece them all together, you know. And I know everybody here that really knew Louis knew that he missed his calling. He should have been a comedian. And we used to sit in meetings, and somebody would walk through the door, and they'd have, you know, long stringy hair, a cowboy hat on, and he'd go to eat tap, and he'd go, "Hey kid," I said, yeah. I said, Willie Nelson just walked in. You know, we'd laugh. And there was always somebody that came through the doors of where we were, whether it was a restaurant or a meeting or whatever, and he would, sure enough, you know, bend over and say, "Hey, here's John Wayne." You know. And it really was funny. And, I don't know. When he first came in, he just got out of prison for many years. He was in prison, and they brought him to my office at Consul's house, and we talked for a little while, and then we started going to meet. I asked him to go to meetings with me. We started going to meetings together. I introduced him to several friends of mine, guys that I was sponsoring at the time. And I slowly but surely became, you know, a really good friend with him. And he shared a lot of his life with me. He shared about his family. In fact, we both were from New Jersey. We had a lot in common, you know. And we traveled up there one time to where he lived and visited some friends of his that still live in the little town he lived in. And you know, he let me into his world, his life. And, you know, it's strange. Little by little over the years, you know, he was a part of my family. He would come to my home, and, you know, Marilyn would be cooking something, and we would talk. And my children, my son's here today, and my daughter was coming. She loved Louis, you know, and him and her had this ongoing joke for the last 20 years or so, and every time they saw each other, I won't go into the whole story, but it was about food, of course, and you know, Louis would go, "Hey Nick, eat a roll," and she'd go, "Louis, eat a roll," and they would, you know, do this for years. So it just doesn't touch me, it touched my entire family, as a lot of the friends that I lost in this program do. They touched people in my home, because I always invited people into my home. And Louis was no different. He was a part of my family. And he was a part of a lot of lives, you know, and I know that because he talked about a lot of you people who are sitting in this room and talked good about you and cared about you. And most of you know who you are, you know, and he cared about guys like Tracy. He would talk to me about him all the time. And it's amazing, you know. It's just unbelievable the amount of friends that he had, the people that he cared about, and people cared about him. And so, I guess the thing that I can say the most about Louis was that he loved this life, and we all could see in the end that he really fought to try to stay in this life. But I also know that he's in heaven today, you know. And I know that he can look down smile for those people here that showed up and that cared about him and cared about his life.
He helped people in so many ways in my vocation, I traveled a lot doing shows, etc. Also like to take vacations. Louis was in there, my right hand, answering questions, making sure that everything was running smoothly, would tell me what wasn't going right, and he really had a pretty good sense of people. As people would find out, that Louis was not feeling well, everybody from the postman to the UPS guy to the fellow that parked his car to all our business associates and everything always had great words about Louis. I never really, in all the years that I've known, really had anybody really say a really harsh word about Louis. Louis could be a little obstinate, as some of you know, and he had his own kind of hard ways about him, but he really had a tender heart. As Louis' health tended to deteriorate, my love really for him grew as an individual, with his strength and his perseverance to go on and go through the ordeal that he went through. And I remember when he got the call, that he was they'd found lungs for him, and I don't think he really knew whether he was going to make it or not, but he had that drive, and I knew Louis was going to make it, and golly, did he make it. And I was just so happy to see him come back and get the additional life that he deserved from that transplant. When he had this setback on the second time, I was very hopeful that Louis would really make it. I really think he's the bravest guy that I ever met. I just can't believe that he's not here today, but I know he's here in spirit. We had a special bond. You all have a special bond with Louis, but Louis was a brother that I never had. Several years ago, I had the good fortune to see Louis perform with Dion in the Sunrise Musical Theater. It was just fabulous to see him up there on stage. I didn't know that part of his life, and it was very inspiring to me. My wife Camille was sitting next to this gentleman, and she said, I love Louis. And he says, well, I love Louis too, he's my son. And that really was, that made the evening. I'd like to share just a little bit of Louis' humor. Everybody knows that Louis liked a good joke. Of course, I used to like to kid him about the Yankees and the Giants and the Knicks, because I'm a die-hard golf and Heat fan. Can't say much about baseball, though. But anyway, one of the jokes that Louis loved was about the Godfather from the Bronx was on his deathbed, and his family gathered around him, and he was talking about some personal items that he was going to leave the family members. And when he came to his grandson, he told him that he was going to leave him his hand-engraved Beretta pistol. And the grandson asked him why he was not leaving him his Rolex. His reply was, someday you're going to get married. And someday maybe you'll come home and your wife will be in bed with another man. What are you going to do? Look at your Rolex and tell them time's up? And little more Louis' humor, we were looking through a legal pad, and we all use legal pads in the office. I don't know why. Can't read my writing, but we used them anyway. But Louis was the person that he would come in the office early. Everybody else, we kind of like, I guess I've been injected with Cuban time and the rest of it. So, 10 o'clock at my office means maybe you'll be there by 10:15 or 10:30. But Louis would get in there 8:30, 9 o'clock, have everything in order and everything. But anyway, Louis wrote this 2 or 3 years ago, but you'll appreciate it. And this is Louis' top 10 excuses for Mary and Cecilia being late. And it's in Louis' handwriting. So it says, Mary, well, number 1, I had to take the baby to school. Number 2, baby has cold. Number 3, missed the first train. Number 4, teacher's work day. Number 5, mom's playing tennis. Number 6, needed to get tires for the car. Number 7, don't feel good. Number 8, Ricky came home late to pick up Emma. Number 9, missed the 9th train. Number 10, I thought they had valet parking downstairs. For Cecilia, stuck in the traffic on the causeway coming from the beach. Number 2, the guy had to come and fix my window. Number 3, the water is leaking in my bathroom. Number 4, the gate is broke in my building, can't get my car out. Number 5, can't get my car out because the lot is flooded. Number 6, water came in my front door because of all the rain. Number 7, my next door neighbor asked me to do something. Number 8, saw someone on the street, and you know me, I had to talk to them to be friendly. They told me how I looked good, but I already knew that. Number 9, had to stop by Rainbow to see if I could get a watch. Number 10, woke up this morning and they were working on the new Walgreens next door and I didn't get a good night's sleep. And I would just like to say in closing that I know Louis right now, he's with Gabriel and he's trying to help him arrange the music a little better, sing a little nicer, and just be a good guy. And we look up, I will miss you, Louis, I love you, but I will never forget you.
Yo, Louis, you're in trouble. I knew Louis over 50 years. He had a lot of, as you heard, he had a lot of great, wonderful qualities, At 13, my father, even Tracy knows this, he has the CDs right with him, the tracks, but my father brought him to Lieber and Stoller, the great Hall of Fame writers, and Louis was going to get a contract with them. They loved his voice at the age of 13. But there's a whole story. But my father's like an emotional 13-year-old. He started, anyway, he never got the contract. His voice changed. It was but, he has, I should have listened to him sing more, closer, because I would have sung my own songs much better, because the guy was incredible. He had such great musical sensibilities, harmonically, placement, the sounds, the way, it's a gift. It's not something it's not a thinking man's game. It's like we called ourselves rhythm singers. You gotta just know where, you just can't think it, So he had such a pure voice, and I love listening to him. We'd be on the road, and he was just an easy guy to hang out with. Very easy, He, very bright guy. I used to like having lunch with him. He'd give me his perceptions on scams. And he had a mind like you know, like a calculator. Say, you know how much you're making tonight? I know what the theater holds. I know what the theater. What are these things? He used to tell me you're playing here 3 days. Just times it by 3. You know. But he always had this. He told me this story about his uncle when he was a young guy, that he was expressing himself on the stoop in Jersey, and his uncle slapped him and said, "Don't ever tell anybody how you feel. They'll use it against you." It must have traumatized him. He must have told me 4 or 5 times. Because it must have scared the hell out of him, because I don't think he trusted anybody. He was like Louis, you could talk to him about a lot of stuff, but emotionally, I don't know. If somebody knew him emotionally, would he get up there and tell me who he was? I don't know. You know, he was like, I used to try to pull things out of him, but he was very, you know, close to the best. And like John and Tracy and Ken said, he had a great sense of humor, just great. I went to his bedside, and first of all, I got to thank you, Robin, for ushering Louis into the vestibule of heaven with such grace and beauty and care and love. God, thank you, Robin. You're an angel. I went to Louis' bedside. He was very frail. A couple of days before he died. I said, I was talking to him, and I said, "Louis, when I die," I saw it in his face, so I just wanted to tell him. I said, "When I die, when I leave this planet, when my heart stops beating, and I leave, I want the Lord God to embrace me, bring me to Himself, and take me home with Him. I want to feel His embrace. I don't want to try to get there on my own merit. I don't know the way. I need a Savior. He said He is the way, the truth, and the life. So I want Him to embrace me at the second my heart stops. Please, Lord, grab me, hold me." I said, "Louis, the dark is a scary place." I told him, I grabbed his face, and I put my hands through his hair. I said, "Louis, I love you. And I know how much you love me." And I knew that. I mean, I knew how much you loved me. I said, the most relevant decision you could make while you're on the planet is to open your heart to God's love. Just open your heart. Just ask Him to come. The program talks about this wonderful personal relationship. That's what it's all about. I said, His sacrifice on the cross, He paid a debt He didn't know. I owed a debt I couldn't pay. So accept the grace of God, His mercy, what He did for us to set us free. He loved us so much that He gave His life for us to just die for all the stuff we did or whatever, just to get close to Him. And I told him, I said, God's greatest attribute is His mercy and His grace. He loves us ridiculously, you know. I brought my big book with me. I'm like sitting there with him for about an hour and a half. I said, you know, and that's what I have on some of the readings from the big book. I said, we have found much of heaven, and we have been rocketed into the fourth dimension of existence, of which we had not even dreamed. I said, the central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we could never do by ourselves. And as we felt His power flow in, we enjoyed peace of mind as we discovered we could face life successfully. as we became conscious of His presence, we began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, or the hereafter. We were reborn. I said, Louis, I know we don't want to encourage that. The will to live is fierce. And Louis was fighting. I asked him, how's your hope going? I said, sometimes, and Paulie was down there with me in one of the visits. He said, sometimes I have hope, sometimes I don't. And we prayed with him. But every time I talked about God and personally inviting Him into his life and opening himself to know Him consciously, to make a conscious decision, Louis would always, I'd say, there's one catch, Louis, you got to be open. That's the one stipulation. God's not going to barge in on you. He's not going to force Himself on you. We have free will. It's like Judaism 101. Free will. You have to ask love how do you free will? And He's really got some. So I asked him if he wanted. He said, he gave me the same answer all the time. And this is why I said, like, emotionally, he used to, like, flatline on me. I don't know about you. But he used to say, I don't get it. And I used to say, Louis, it's not an it, it's a him. I said, the truth isn't a something, it's a somebody. His name is Jesus Christ. He is the truth, the way, and the life. Just embrace Him. He'll take you home. Because he was getting, it was getting close for him. So I'm like a ferocious Catholic. I'm like out of my mind, I want to hear everything like verbal. I wanted to hear it, in my ears. I said, do you want me to get a priest or a pastor, a rabbi, anybody? Come in and pray with you. I don't get it. But I'll tell you one thing, and Ken said it, and John said it, Tracy said it, and Debbie's sister even said it. Reverend Mary taught my sister Tane. My kids grew up great. The principals, really, this works out, even in your kids' lives. But I said, do you want me to get a priest? Or, and it was like, Louis would, but you could tell how much love was in this guy. He loved George. Right? George was his dog. This was the most ugliest dog. He used to come up to my house with this dog. I said, Louis, how could you live with this dog? This is the most ugliest dog. He would get hurt. He loved this dog. And when that dog died, he cried his eyes out. He was like so in love with this dog. They were cute together, It was like blinking light. But the one thing I know is there's a scripture where the friends were paralytic. Dropped him, this guy who was paralyzed, they dropped him through, well, in Israel they have these palm roofs, they dropped him through the roof in front of right at the feet of Christ. His friends. The guy couldn't walk. The guy didn't want to go. His friends had the faith. So like with Kent, and I was talking to Tracy and John, and all of us here, our prayers, my prayer, we're all here in prayer for Louis. So I'm confident in God's grace and His mercy and how much He loves all of us. And that He embraced Louis and give him a big kiss from all of us, because I love that guy.
Don't grieve for me, for now I'm free. I'm following the path God laid for me. I took His hand when I heard Him call. I turned my back and left it all. I could not stay another day to laugh, to love, to work, or play. Tasks left undone must stay that way. I found that peace at the close of day. If my parting has left a void, then fill it with remembered joy. A friendship shared, a laugh, a kiss. Ah, yes, these things I too will miss. Be not burdened with times of sorrow. I wish you the sunshine out tomorrow. My life's been full, I've savored much. Good times, good friends, a loved one's touch. Perhaps my time seemed all too brief. Don't lengthen it now with undue grief. Lift up your heart and share with me. God wanted me now. He set me free.
The dash. Read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on his tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of his birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered the most of all was the dash between the years. For the dash represents all the time he spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved him know what little line is that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's truly real and always try to understand the way other people feel. And be less quick to anger and show appreciation more. And love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect, and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash can only last a while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent